And we have made this conscious decision that we want to focus on the automation piece because that is where we see the future. That is where we see that the only way to help our customers is scale deployments or go from science experiments to actually creating value on a day-to-day basis.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 253. How will we manage autonomous UAV fleets? For that question, we turn to Nitin Gupta, founder and CEO of FlytBase, a Silicon Valley startup that offers an enterprise drone automation platform to power large-scale deployments of intelligent autonomous UAV fleets. The company's hardware-agnostic IoT platform features intelligent plugins at the edge, cloud-based real-time fleet management, and APIs for seamless integration with business workflows. FlytBase is working with a large number of enterprise customers spread across the U.S. and Europe, helping them deploy fully automated drone applications for public safety, security, warehouses, and inspections. Nitin has over 15 years of experience in the automation and aerial robotics industry. Before founding FlytBase, he worked with multiple startups and with Samsung Electronics. He has extensive background in aerospace control systems, robotics, and automation. In this edition of the Drone Radio Show, Nitin talks about FlytBase, the challenges of building a system to manage autonomous fleets, and he shares his thoughts on the future of the drone industry. But before we hear from Nitin, I want to thank those of you who are supporting my funding campaign. Whether it's $1, $100, or much more, you can help defray the cost of production and keep the podcast going and growing. Go to droneradioshow.com/donate. So let's learn about one company's solution to managing autonomous UAV fleets with Nitin Gupta of FlytBase. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Nitin to introduce himself.
Hi, Randy. This is Nitin here. I am the founder and CEO of FlytBase. FlytBase is an enterprise drone automation software platform.
Nitin, can you tell us about FlytBase?
The thesis of FlytBase is that going forward, we will need drones that are fully automated. We will need to scale drone deployments in order to create value for customers with full automation. And FlytBase offers an enterprise drone automation software platform. So these are components that allow applications to be deployed on a fully autonomous drones. For example, using drones for inspections, for security, for delivery, for public safety. So any of these applications. So you're able to build these applications on top of the FlytBase software platform.
What makes FlytBase different from other drone enterprise companies?
FlytBase started as a drone automation platform. We do not focus so much on processing of the data. So many of the other companies in the ecosystem today focus on the data collected by drones and how do you process them for various use cases. We focus more on the automation of the drone flight itself. How do you fly a drone in a fully automated way? How do you do fleet management and things like that? So for example, one of the key components of our platform is a layer of software that makes your application agnostic to the drone hardware. So what that helps you do is you can now use a drone from DJI or use any open source drone platform built on ArduPilot, PX4, etc. And using the same application, you can still automate the hardware that you have. So we have that hardware abstraction layer in place. Similarly, we have another layer in the cloud, which allows you to connect to your drone fleet remotely. So you could have a hybrid fleet of drones. So some drones may be from DJI, some drones may be from Unique or PX4 or ArduPilot. And now all of these drones can connect to your ground control station through the cloud. So this is another piece of the platform.
Are these primarily customized solutions, or are they designed for any user?
So these are standardized products, these are standardized pieces of the platform. And now going forward, what we are building are some of the user-focused applications. These are the components of the platform. And now you can use these pieces to create complete applications for the customers. And the major applications that today we are focusing on are, one is for remote drone operations, which heavily uses our cloud component as well as this operating system component. This product is called Flight Now. And there is another component, another product which is called FlightWare. And this is focused on indoor drone operations, focused on warehouse inventory management.
Let's talk about those solutions. You started with the inventory use case. Tell us about it and why it's needed.
Again, the thesis remains the same, that how can we use commercially available off-the-shelf drone hardware and make it intelligent through our software. So what we realized is that there are very interesting applications indoors. And why indoors becomes interesting is, one is from the regulatory side of things. So when you're flying a drone indoors in your own or private property, you do not really have as many regulatory issues as with flying fully autonomous drones outdoors. So indoor becomes interesting from that point of view. And of course, when you have huge spaces, you would want to scale things quickly and you would want to do things in a fully automated manner. And one of the very interesting applications that we came across was this warehouse automation. So here the challenge is that you have these huge warehouses, which might be million square feet or 3 million square feet in size. So you have hundreds of aisles, and each aisle is like 300, 400 feet long and 40 feet tall. And you have your freight stored on these shelves, on these racks. You have to go and scan the barcodes or whatever are the labels on all of this freight and figure out what item is kept where inside a warehouse. So this is called a cycle count. And today doing the cycle count is very expensive, very time consuming, and not very accurate. So if we can do it in a way that is fully automated and it can be done much more periodically and very efficiently, it can create a huge business value for these warehouse owners and operators.
So you're creating this autonomous workflow, and the drone is collecting data through this autonomous mechanism. What happens to the data afterwards, or what is your relationship to the data?
So in case of warehouses, the major challenge is in the automation of the drone itself, because the major challenge is that this drone is not able to navigate indoors on its own because there is no GPS signal available inside a warehouse, because there is no direct line of sight with the satellites or anything. So how do you navigate? How do you fly the drone autonomously? And how do you manage an entire fleet of drones? So in the future, you can imagine having 20, 30 drones flying inside a large warehouse and going to any location and scanning the barcodes from that location. So the piece of software that is required for data processing is not very complex, and it is kind of easily available from other third-party vendors. And we have partnerships in place where we are able to leverage the technology from our partners to process that barcode. But the key challenge is in the automation of the drone itself. So that is the IP that we are building, that we are creating.
How does someone take their drone and make it an autonomous vehicle?
So the idea is that you buy a commercially available off-the-shelf drone from DJI or from Skydio or from any vendor that provides the right kind of hardware. And now using our intelligent software, we are able to make this drone fly indoors. So we are able to detect various features inside a warehouse, and we are able to localize the drone inside a warehouse. So we know at every point in time where the drone is. And once the supervisor or the person in charge of this operation just sets a high-level target for the drone, that go and scan these 4 aisles today, or go and scan this section of the warehouse. Now drone will autonomously figure out how it needs to navigate that space, and it will automatically create its own path, and it will go and scan each item within that area and generate a report for you. So at the end of the mission, you will know exactly what item is kept in what location.
In addition to the inventory application, what else are you working on?
The other major application that we are working on is outdoor operations, but remote operations of drone fleets. So this is for use largely for security or for remote surveys or inspections. So this is a common product which can be used for connecting to your drone fleets remotely over the cloud.
Basically, that's the same type of solution as one would use indoors, except that there are obviously regulations and other things that one has to worry about outside.
Correct. So both these products are built on the same underlying technology. In the case of indoors, there are several additional blocks in order to help these drones navigate indoors without a GPS. In case of outdoors, the major piece is how do you connect through the cloud, because your drones could be operating in a far off location. So how do you make sure that you have very low latency or close to zero latency between the data or the communication between the drone and the ground station?
Are the solutions available worldwide?
Because it is largely software driven, so we provide the autonomous software part of the puzzle, and our solutions are compatible with variety of drone hardware, so you can easily procure the drone from a local store or a local vendor, and you can easily go online, subscribe to our service, and start using the drone. Especially for the Flight Now product, that is the remote operations product, it is very seamless. You can just buy a drone from anywhere you like. You can get a DJI Mavic or a Phantom or Matrix or even a Pixhawk based drone, and you can just go online, subscribe to our service, and start communicating with your drone remotely.
Who would you say is your ideal customer?
These is all focused on enterprise customers, where these customers are looking at scale. So they are looking at deploying drones in large quantities, and they want the job to be done in a fully autonomous manner day in, day out. For a remote operations kind of a solution, again, it is focused on use cases such as security and public safety. We have done some work with a customer in Tyler, Texas, where they have integrated this solution with 911 emergency response. So there the idea is they are able to now integrate with 911, where once you place a 911 call, autonomously a nearest drone will be deployed to your location, and it will start transmitting live data to the emergency operations center, so that they are able to better coordinate their operations, and they are able to be more effective in their response. Yeah, so the customers like that. And for the indoor operations, of course, the customers are going to be the warehouse operators and warehouse owners. For example, we have done significant work with British Airways recently, where they have deployed the solution in their facility in Madrid, in Spain. And we are working with several other third-party logistics companies in Texas and California.
What would you say is the biggest challenge in developing a system like this?
We started this company about 4 or 5 years ago. And in the first couple of years, we invested heavily in designing and architecting the core platform. That how will this operating system layer work? What are the APIs, and how will we build the SDKs, so that building the applications on top becomes a lot more efficient. So designing that architecture or that core platform, that operating system layer, the cloud layers, all that is helping us today to quickly move ahead and customize the complete solutions based on the customer requirements.
What does someone have to do to get the inventory application up and running?
For the warehouse application, it is a little more closer engagement with the customer, because we need to send a team to the warehouse. We need to do the initial configuration of the solution for that warehouse. It is a little bit closer relationship with the customer.
If the customer is located, say, halfway across the world, how do you get a team there and still make it cost effective for the client?
So for the warehouse solution, again, it is a one-time configuration that we need to do. So like I mentioned, that we are working with customers in Europe, we are working with customers in different parts of US. So we are able to send a team wherever our customers are located. Our team spends the first few days in setting up the solution, in training the customer on how to use the solution. And then it is completely left with the customer. So then customers are able to run the entire operations on their own.
Is there a minimum size for a warehouse where anything below just isn't effective or efficient for the service?
Yes, absolutely. So the minimum size warehouse is 100,000 square feet. Less than 100,000 square feet, it is not really the best solution for a smaller warehouse than 100,000.
Assuming we have a warehouse of about 100,000 square feet, how many drones would be used?
We typically recommend 2 to 4 drones, even for a small warehouse, just to ensure that there is enough redundancy and there is enough reliability in the solution. So for whatever reason, in case one drone is not working or there is any issue with one drone, you have another one available, and that can easily get the job done on time.
Several years ago, everything revolved around the drone. Then we heard that it wasn't about the drone, it was all about the data. And now we're saying that it isn't really about the data, it's about what you can do with the data to create value. But your company seems to be going in a different direction. It's not about the drone, not really about the data, it's about the technology. Did you ever feel that maybe you were going in the wrong direction?
Not really. So one thing that has happened over last 3 to 4 years is that drone industry has matured a lot. So what has happened? Initially, everybody wanted to do everything. There were companies like Airware or many other companies even today who started out saying that no, we will build our own drones, we will build our own applications, and we will do our own processing. So we'll do everything like a full stack kind of solutions. But we know that that didn't pan out very well. And then quickly companies started realizing that they need to focus on one or the other expertise, and they need to work together. And they need to partner with other companies, either for the technology or on the business side. And only then we are able to provide enough value to our customers. So today, each companies, for example, DJI is trying to occupy their own hardware space. There are companies who are focused on payloads. And there are companies who are operating or focusing on the data layer. And within the data layer, again, there are now companies who are focusing only on wind turbine data. There are companies who are focusing only on inspection data for rooftops. So each company is now starting to figure out what is their focus area and how can they work with other layers in the stack in order to deliver complete value for customers. And we have made this conscious decision that we want to focus on the automation piece, because that is where we see the future. That is where we see that the only way to help our customers is scale deployments or go from science experiments to actually creating value on a day-to-day basis.
What industries or applications do you see as really benefiting from adding automation to the workflow?
I think this is going to become very, very kind of universal. So almost any application that you see today where you have people flying drones manually or one person flying one drone, that will likely not continue for a very long time for most of the applications. Maybe not for everything, but for most applications, we will see going forward, there is going to be more and more automation across applications. So it's not just one like warehouse application or only public safety applications which will be automated. We'll see automation across the spectrum, whether it is delivery, whether it is inspection of a rooftop. So everything will need more and more automation. And when it comes to outdoor use, we'll see more and more adoption of drone in a box kind of solutions, where again, you already have drones in different locations and they can all be managed and controlled through a single dashboard in some central place. And everything is fully automated and they do the job as and when necessary. So it is going to happen across the spectrum. And as the regulations mature and as the technology matures, as we are able to build more reliable systems which deliver the value to the customers day in and day out, the adoption will continue to increase.
I assume you're using a lot of machine learning.
Yes, so machine learning is again a part of parcel of any kind of automation technology. And machine learning or computer vision or any kind of this automation algorithms are used not only for post processing of the data, but also for live detection of features and figuring out the trajectory. So we use machine learning extensively for various use cases. Like again, when it comes to warehouse, we are using machine learning and computer vision extensively for helping us navigate the indoor spaces, because again, we do not have a GPS, so we have to use the other features and other cues that we have available in that space.
The company is 4 years old. What have been some of the challenges in the past 4 years that you've had to overcome?
There were a lot of initial projections that drone adoption will be at a certain rate and so on. So things have not panned out at that rate, obviously, because of the regulations and because of many other factors that come into play when it is a new technology and nobody has really seen how drones work and whether they are useful or not. So the adoption has been kind of slower than the initial projections. But at the same time, the fundamentals are strong. At the same time, we really understand and we believe that there is immense value to be created by drones, and it is just a matter of time. Whether it will happen in 1 year or 5 years is still everybody is taking their own guesses and bets. But the fundamentals are strong and there is immense value to be created. And how can we capture that value is what each of the players within the drone industry has to think.
Based on your experience, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who are getting ready to start their own company?
So you have to be patient. And you have to continuously keep tabs at how things are moving and how can you collaborate and build partnership with others in the ecosystem in order to generate value for the customers. The other advice would be that in the initial years, it was more about whether drones can do this or that. Now it is more about can we create enough business value from drones. So now people have already done the POCs and pilots, and people realize that yes, drones can be used for surveys. Yes, drones can be used for delivery and so on. So that the POCs or science experiments are all done. Now it is more about, can we actually generate positive margins? Can we actually have significant revenues by using drones? Can we build a case for safety? Can we have reliability when we are using a large fleet of drones? So these are more business value related questions that we need to answer now.
What have the last 4 years taught you?
Because it is a new industry, things are changing all the time. So you have to keep tabs at how things are moving, and you probably need to pivot. You need to understand that, okay, this is the use case where there is significant value, and know what can our technology do for this use case, and how can we again deliver value for the customers. So one of the lessons has been that, okay, let's stay close to our customers. Let's understand how they are using the technology, what is working, what is not, and make those quick changes, and again go back to customers. So having those deep relationship with customers becomes very, very critical in order to stay ahead, in order to make progress and make sure that we are building that value for our customers.
Getting back to the technology, is there anything that we missed that we should talk about?
Few things I would like to convey is that FlytBase is one of the few companies which has invested in building this core platform, and that standardized platform with APIs and SDKs is what is enabling us today to get into these different applications. So while these applications might seem a little different from each other, they are all built on the same platform. So that is the power, or that is the IP that FlytBase has created over the last 3 to 4 years.
What excites you about the industry?
Again, automation. How can we automate a large fleet of drones? How can we make this entire fleet reliable, robust? How can we make sure that this entire fleet can work day in, day out without any manual intervention and generate enough value for our customers?
And for my final question, Nitin, what message would you like to leave regarding FlytBase's role in the future of the drone industry?
The drone industry is maturing, and each player is trying to figure out their role within the industry. And FlytBase has taken a conscious approach to occupy the layer which automates the drone software automation layer, which is agnostic to drone hardware. So we work across drone hardware platforms, and the idea is how can we use our software layers in order to automate these drones for various applications. And again, what we are excited about is how can we move ahead, how can we partner with players in other layers of the stack, and how can we together work to create value for customers.
That's it for episode 253 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Nitin Gupta of FlytBase. I want to thank Nitin for taking the time to speak with me. If you want to learn more about FlytBase or want to connect with Nitin, check out the website at flytbase.com, and FlytBase is spelled FlyTEBASE. If you like the Drone Radio Show, please consider supporting the podcast with a small donation. The content is always free, but for as little as $1, you can help defray the cost of production. To donate, go to droneradioshow.com/donate. And thanks for listening. Your support means a lot to me, and I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Goers.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.